So, a couple of months ago, I asked this gorgeous girl out, which happens to be within my apartment condo complex, a couple of blocks over to where I live, and she lives within walking distance. Okay. And the way this came about, well, first and foremost, she's 29 years old. Okay. And she, out of nowhere, has found Jesus Christ and has become an avid follower of the Lord and preaching Jesus Christ and the Holy Spirit and the grail of all things. Now, I'm not a racist person. I'm open to all races. I have nothing against these Christ followers and preachers. I think there's value in it. And the funny thing here, once again, is I am not pointing fingers that there's something wrong with being 29 years old. I'm going to tell you exactly what she told me in her words. And mind you, I don't have any problem pulling girls and asking them out and going on dates. Okay, this is why I post my receipts when I'm out on dates, and some are okay with their faces being shown, some are not okay with their faces being shown, and they know that I do YouTube. In fact, my ex-girlfriend from Colombia, she subscribed to a YouTube channel, right? And she knows that I had run a channel and I posted documentary style content about her and my life, and I tried to make Instagram reels with me and her, and it was actually pretty successful. So coming back to this, is I've tried to hide the privacy of this girl as best as possible. So that's why you're seeing what you're seeing. And in her exact words, when I asked her out, is that she's 29 years old. Once again, I've talked about on this channel many, many times that 28, when they turn 27, 28, 29, they start telling on themselves. Like, I've had some recent comments on my channel, like one recently, like today on the video I just did today, that she went back to the streets. That topic is that you all miss the point of these stories and narratives, that you choose to focus on just one aspect and element of the story rather than looking at the whole picture. What I'm saying and what I'm testifying in my testimonials and in my stories is not the first YouTube channel. This is a relatively small YouTube channel. There are many stories and testimonials like this from larger channels from the men's space that talk about these topics. I'm actually living it. I'm not just posting content and not showing my receipts. I am posting my dates. Okay. So once again, no problem here getting dates. And these women that I'm asking out, they know my age and they like what they see because I put in the work. So without trying to brag and without coming off like an a-hole, I'm trying to find the balance, because some of you need to really listen to the story and pay attention to what I'm saying. And I'm trying to show both sides of the story, not just one side. This girl told me that her prime is over, that when she was 23, 24, she could have any guy she wanted. This is right out of her mouth. The way I asked this girl out is, I think for about 2 months or so, she was waving at me whenever she was pulling it into the complex, and I was walking my dog right before I started this new job. So around 5 o'clock, she would typically pull into the parking lot, and I happened to be walking out most days, 5:30, and I'd run into her. She would wave at me, and the first few times, I didn't wave at her because I was confused. I'm like, she must be waving at someone else. Like, I'm just going to pretend like I didn't see her. Like, I don't know who she is. I honestly didn't know who she is. This continued for like a few more weeks until I started just like waving. But my waving was like, hi, like, you seem very nice and attractive, of course. And I'm like, who are you? Like, where do you live? Like, how do you know me? Like, if you are a healthy man with testosterone flowing within your system, the right thing to do is try to grow a pair and have the courage and make a fool of yourself and go ask her out. The worst thing she's going to do is say no, not interested. But this girl was giving me a blatant sign that I find you attractive. Come on and say hi. So I contemplated, because why? Well, I contemplated not for any other reason. I was willing to take a chance. This was not about how old she is, because I didn't know how old she is. I was willing to take a chance and give it a shot, because I was genuinely interested to find out who she is, where she lives, of course, like I've never seen her before, and then try to see if I can get her on a date, because I was feeling the vibe and the chemistry. So one of the nights, I happened to be taking my dog on a late night walk, 9 o'clock, and she was pulling in. And I don't know if she was waving at me through her windows because you can't tell at night. So it so happened that she was right in front of me about to park, and I saw the garage opening up, and I slowly, safely, gentleman like made an approach. Okay. She rolled her windows down. I swear to God, she had such a big smile on her face. And she was in the middle of parking, and I said, "Hey, why don't you park? Because I am keeping you here. Why don't you park, and then we can maybe chit chat a little bit because I've seen you waving at me. I just wanted to come and say hi." So you have to make them always feel safe and be confident. Like, don't be a creep. Be confident and ask them out, and just be nice about it. That's it. Like, you don't have to be an a-hole. Just ask a girl out if she's showing you the signs and choosing signals. She gave me all the choosing signals. She was willing to stay parked in the middle of the passing lane, other cars, for a good 30 minutes. There were no cars that were going passing us because it was like 9:30, 10. And I think this is an anomaly because I've always seen cars parking, coming and going. And she chose to just stay there. I'm like, okay, well, we were talking. We talked for about good 15, 20 minutes, asked the number. I already got the number in the first 5 minutes. And she was like, yeah, yeah, yeah. She gave me her phone, and I punched the number, and I said, I'm you are calling my cell phone. Okay. I'm pressing call on her phone. And then I gave her phone back. I was like, that's me, save my contact. She saved my contact. She asked me my real name, not my artist name, not my YouTube channel name. She saved it, and she said hi with my name on it. Hi, so and so. Okay. And I texted her back, hi. And she got it, and she giggled. She was red. I could see it, And we talked for like a good 30 minutes, and she chose not to park. So I'm like, oh, you're crazy. Um, her laughing was just, she's a little socially awkward, I would say. But I don't have any problem with that. Like I'm okay with that because you just don't know what people have been through in life. And I always try to be kinder toward that. Even when I'm dating a girl or I'm about to date someone, like I am willing to withstand. I'm a very patient guy. I'm also very giving. Like, there's not a whole lot the girl has to do. So if you're just joining my channel, I just want you to know that I really, really do appreciate women. And if I didn't appreciate them, these girls wouldn't be saying yes when I ask them out. Most times they say yes, and sometimes they say no. And so when we go on dates, I try to get some pictures and clips, and just for my own media and my own talking head channel here. So in this case, no issues. I don't have any problem with this. So I always treat them well, by the way. So uh, she stayed, continued parking. We talked for a good 30 minutes. We planned our first date. And but before I left, I was like, why did you give me your number? Why have you been waving to me? I just want to know, like, how do you know me? Or were you just giving me the choosing signals for me to come and ask you out? She goes, all of the above. I'm like, wow, that easy? Like, I would have never known. And she said, I thought you were attractive. And but the primary reason is that she has seen me with my Colombian girlfriend in the past. And apparently I just have passed her by, and her mother. I know the car her mother drives, and I didn't know that they actually live together. So the mother and daughter live together, and she recently moved here about 1 year ago. So this makes sense as to why I've never seen this girl, and now she's here, and she's waving at me for 2 months, and now we are here, and I got the number, and we're talking. She's not on social media because she didn't talk about it much, and from the sounds of it and looks of it, she's just not a social media fan. That's actually a green flag for me. That's a big deal. And probably for that very reason, I wanted to go out with her. And I found her extremely, extremely attractive. So for those guys and haters and even girls, that older women per se, that think that I have something against 29-year-olds, I don't. I found her very attractive. And so I said, I'm going to give this a chance. I'm going to give it a shot. I want to give this a few more dates. I mean, this is already a slam dunk. We're already good to go. So I have accepted that she's socially awkward. Some of it is she's not socially aware. Some of her laughs are very out of the extraordinary. So I don't know if there was something going on upstairs, but I was definitely not about to take advantage of that situation, but rather give her some time and space. And it could have been acute anxiety. And I was willing to actually work with her through it. because I'm not expecting anything out of this. I'm not expecting her to come over to my place. I'm not expecting to sleep with her overnight. When you get to this age, you're just a little bit more chilled, laid back, where getting laid is not really the primary goal right off the get go. Like at the end of the day, I am a typical guy. Yes, I want the same thing that a 25-year-old wants. I have healthy, free range testosterone, nearly 1100 milligrams. I think that's 100 mil, like whatever that's, 1000 mil. So I have extremely high testosterone. So that goes to tell you that I have a drive, if you know what I mean. And so, but I use that for my training, for my work here, my mental state, and just how I approach my fitness and wellness life. And honestly, guys, this is why, as an older man, you do get chosen to an extent by women. And when they find out my age, they are most times shocked and also attracted that I've taken care of myself. So the reason why I'm mixing up the story a little bit is I don't know who joins my channel, who's landing on this video. So it's important for you to know that this is not hatred toward women. This is not hatred toward another sex or the age grouping. It is what it is. They tell on themselves. And she told me in her words that her prime is over. But I reminded her that for me and how I see you, I think you are gorgeous. Like, I don't have any problems. You're judging your own self. But heck, if you're telling me your prime is over, you're confirming what I've already seen in the marketplace, which is by the time you start creeping up to that 27, 28, 29, you start tapping on that buzzer. You start tapping on that panic button because no guy has asked you to be his wife, right? And I'm not going to ask you that because I don't believe in the institution of marriage. I think that's a scam, in my opinion. And until the laws change, I'm not open to the idea of walking down the aisle and ending my life there. No thanks. If the laws change and balance out, and the power bestowed is equally, sort of reasonable for men and women, I will probably get married. But I don't see that day coming. So this is the lifestyle I choose. So you have to be honest with yourself, guys. You have to be honest with yourself. And when you're honest with yourself and live that truth, nothing other people say should bother you or can harm you or should sway you from your path. A lot of this is wisdom and also acceptance that I love my peace and quiet, minus the drama. So the drama is going to unfold. So let's take it to the first date. We go out to the first date. I take her to the wine bar. You may have seen me and my other girl, Colombian girlfriend, at this wine bar. It's a very popular spot. I took her over there, and she didn't drink. I didn't force her. I think that's amazing that she has this protocol. But right during this date, she told me that she had a roster of guys on the other side of Vegas, the North Las Vegas area, and she moved from that side to this side of town, as a nicer part of town, which is where I live in, and to get away from men. And then she said she had a roster of men that she has already been through, and it's time that she changes the geography, the footprint, so she can meet newer men in this side of town. So let's pause there for a second. Let's pause there for a second. Then I continued. I said, you know what? I think I know where this is going to go. I think I know, and this is not going to go any further than a few dates. And I was precisely right on the money. So she's was embarrassed after she told me this. I was the one having whiskey on the rocks, but she's the one telling me all the stories. So part of being mature is that you have to be a good listener. And this comes with time and age. It doesn't necessarily mean that this is the quality most older men possess. I happen to be someone that listens very well. Someone speaks, I take a step back and let them speak. And if they are giving me information and just blurting, you got to let them talk. Let them talk. Because talking is therapeutic, and you just don't know how that story lands with you, right? So I'm expanding your mind here, giving you an insight as to how I operate. I let her speak. And she said, in her own words, I had a roster of guys, and I'm sort of done with that roster of guys. I just can't stand men. And I needed to move from that side of town to this side of town. Now, Vegas is very small in that sense, is that it's It's a big slash city, but it's also a small town feel where eventually you start knowing the same people. And I think she kind of tapped out on that. And the way she categorized it, all her leads and her roster is what she said. She has been through all of those guys. When I asked her, can you tell me the number on that roster? Now things get interesting. And she did not want to tell me what that roster looked like. So now I'm putting the red flags together like, okay, she's gone through a bunch of guys that didn't want her. It doesn't matter what she says, but I have to stand up for the fellow men and the brothers and also look at it from a man's perspective because I'm on a date here with this beautiful girl once again, who no one proposed to and no one really wanted to be serious with for a long period of time, and now she's nearly 30 years old and she's giving me all the panic signals and the alarm bells and everything that I talk about on this channel. Like, for my own curiosity, I wanted to prove this one and play this out and have her prove me wrong. But there's something to be said is when they start telling on themselves. Guys, I kid you not, man. Once she said that, I just said, I can end this date right here. But I see the goodness in you. I still see these. It doesn't mean your value has declined. It's just that you are now panicking is because no one has asked you to be their wife. No one has put a ring on your finger and you are now really, really stressed. And now you're telling me that story, right? The date was beautiful. Came out to about $100. Granted, 4 of those whiskeys were mine. And I had a great time. But I knew right off the bat that this is not going to go anywhere because she's half the time she was talking about finding God and Jesus Christ and going to church. She's an avid churchgoer. I got nothing against that church, her rituals, her routines, but this is new for her. She said that she's always been a devout Christian, and she realized that she's been betraying Christianity and the faith and blaming the roster of men rather than taking accountability for her choices because she allowed those guys to go through her. Hopefully you can see the point I'm making here. Like, I'm honestly giving her a shot and not judging her. Like, so after the date, we spent an entire week going on late night walks. All we did is walk. And it's triple digits outside. I could have sealed the deal and said, let's come to my place and let's just, get to the point. But no, I let her be because now I was realizing she's trauma dumping, but this wasn't going to last too long. She's telling me all the stories and all the reasons why, how terrible her choices were through nearly 30 years in life and why I should change, why I should follow God, why I should embrace Christianity, and why I should go to church with her. Like, this happened, guys, on the second, third date and we were just walking. I'm like, no. I was like, your beliefs are not my set of beliefs. I am not dictated nor limited by those beliefs. Those are your principles. And this whole religious stuff is very ironic that you, like some of the girls that I know in the marketplace, get to this age and now you have this magical epiphany of the awakening and you have found God. As if somehow those choices you made are going to go away. Like, I'm not stupid, man. And then she told me all the guys that she friend zoned. And I told her, well, I am choosing to be your friend right now because I'm a mature guy. I'm a mature man. I'm an older guy. So I'm not going to play the game with you and say, I want something from you. Like, it's just going to happen if it's going to happen. You're already in my radius. Let me play this out a little bit. I want to be a part of this and see where this goes. Guys, there was a little bit there where I was giving her the benefit of the doubt, but 80-90% I knew this was a done deal. So I just wanted to collect the information for my own sake and sanity and eventually make a video on this. And so a lot of this is unscripted that I'm talking about. She kept asking me to go to church. And then in my text message, she texts me, I've been thinking about you so much. You're such a great guy. Of course, go figure. Of course, I'm a great guy. Like, I'm being sarcastic here. But there's some truth to it. I'm a good dude. I treated her well. I gave her the girlfriend treatment. I took her on two nice dates. And as always, the theme is, if you notice all my stories and narratives around dating, always treat the girl to the best of your abilities and as much as your finances allow. But remember, cut the bait and don't drag this any longer than it needs to be dragged. Like otherwise, you're wasting your time, and then you're asking for the pain that's gonna follow because now you have really friend zoned yourself. She texted me and said, "I was thinking about coming over and sleeping with you and getting it over with." And then I responded something along the lines with a question mark, "Well, what's holding you back?" She's quiet. She sent a paragraph. I just sent one liner. I wasn't gonna say no. And then we went out again, second date, and we talked about all of this stuff during our dinner. And she was shy. She was embarrassed. Got allergies, guys. Triple digits outside, by the way. We held hands, and there was some light touching as we were walking, and a lot of hugging, and the tension was building. Right, we were like getting. Once again, I am totally taking the back seat because I don't know where she is here. So I am letting things just happen organically, naturally, and I had to tread very cautiously. And I was kind of hoping that this doesn't go where I think it's gonna. Like I thought we're gonna end up hooking up, but we didn't hook up. So I can tell you another story and lie about hooking up and sell you on it. But the honest truth is, I'm kind of glad it didn't happen because she had a very bipolar type of a personality. One minute she's happy, one and the other minute she's like a little acting more. She's talking like a little psychotic, right? And when I asked her what's stopping you from coming over and experimenting, and since you have had a roster of guys, am I not part of that roster, or does things stop here and do you want to go about your own way and find someone in church and find your perfect match there? She said, "No, I want to see where this goes. I want to give you a shot." I was like, "Okay, cool. Well, I'm not really chasing and pursuing. It seems like you like my company and you like the walks and you're also inspired by my fitness journey." And she started calling me Chad, right? Because she liked my polo shirts and the way I was dressing and smelling, and she was so attracted to me. And one of the nights, she was sitting on my couch right here. She came to my place, by the way, and just totally PG. We were holding hands, cuddling, didn't really try to make the move because I didn't sense she was comfortable. And one of the nights, I think she was ready, and I had to go to work. This job is new, and I didn't realize that maybe that was the night that she wanted to hook up. And she told me how, "Oh my God, you're so handsome and this and that, but God's gonna be mad and God's gonna be upset and Jesus Christ this and Jesus Christ that." I'm like, man, this girl's really crazy. Like, you just can't make this shit up. Like, you're a grown chick, you're an adult. 29 years for a girl and a woman is a lot different for when a man is 29 and a woman is 29. These are two different things. A man at 29 can be acting like a kid because I was there. Okay, a woman at 29, most women kind of know what they want, and there's a reason why they tap the buzzer, and there's a reason why there's a flock of them on the internet crying about no one's marrying them, no one's asking them out. Right? We're just talking about 30 and under, right? 30 and over is just another nightmare that I don't want to go there. Some of this is inspired by the recent comment on this other video, just this video I did about she's back in the streets, is that this is not just the one time, folks. This is I've seen this happen with my ex-girlfriend, with my Colombian girlfriend. When I was in my 30s and my girlfriends were in their 20s, all of them are single. All of them are looking for the one. Some of them have kids and stepdaddies, right? It's a mess, guys. So, to the comment that those girls are lucky I didn't marry, I feel like the lucky one, guys. I feel like I'm actually blessed because I was never looking for a marriage. I never pressured a girl to stay with me, but I did give them. I treated them really well, very nicely. And then in this day and age, you'd be lucky to even have a boyfriend. You'd be lucky to even have a man wanting to commit and just be with one woman. Like I'm low key, I am low stress, low. I mean, I don't like drama. I don't argue. But if I find a cool girl, I'll ride the wave for as long as I need to. If I'm happy, genuinely happy, I don't need to be jumping around from girl to girl. I'm generally happy with one. And when most guys, when they find a good chick, this is how they are. Like they're content. Doesn't take me a whole lot. My requirements are not outrageous. It's what most men want. You know, fit, feminine, and friendly. That's it. Outside of that, you don't have to pay for a damn thing. And granted, I'm an older man, but younger chicks do want to date me, so I have no problem there. Is what I'm saying. Coming back to this girl, she tried to convert me into a Christ goer. I was not having it. Nothing against that, by the way. She was very, very stuck in her ways, and I said, "Look, I think we've kind of crossed the boundaries here. We've been walking together. We've been holding hands. You've been giving me mixed signals. There's sexual chemistry. There's tension at its height. I got to cut this off because we're there. We're either we're gonna hook up or this is it. Like not in that exact words, but she knew it. She felt it, and I felt it. She thought about hooking up with me a few times and was just very torn. And then one of the days, on a given day, right before my birthday, the big 50, she texts me and says, "At church today, I was having a talk with one of my friends, and she told, it was an older woman that advised her that despite how good of a guy I am, is you must date someone who's of Christian faith and values." And I respected that. I'm like, "Look, I personally think you're a little brainwashed and you still don't know what you want, because one minute you told me you have a roster of guys and you moved into your mom to get away from men, but you're not talking about the choices you made and why you made exceptions to the rule, and you had a roster of men, and now you're all of a sudden the good guy, which I happen to be. You are not consistent with all of that." But I didn't make a big deal. I put myself there. And then I said, "You know what? It's a wrap. It's over. Like, I don't want to continue this." She agreed. And that was it. And a big reason, I still have the text message as well. She said, "We have to be yoked," like meaning that. And I'm like, "Oh man, this is go figure. All the red flags are playing out. Like you're 29, you're on the lookout, the rush to get married. No one's going to do it. You told me that you're not in your prime anymore. And you have confirmed what I already knew, what I'm seeing in the marketplace. Plenty of girls out there crying about it, right? I'm watching the show. I'm actually now experiencing it firsthand. Ironic how you found Christ and the religious faith all of a sudden, as if that's going to wash away your sins and your choices. No, it doesn't. No one. Once a man knows, a man knows. And when you tell me you have a roster of guys, yeah, of course I'm going to judge you, but I'm going to still give you a chance. I was willing to date you. I was willing to spend a little bit of time. But if you are going to try to convert me and try to make me follow something that you value now, all of a sudden you've had that awakening, I respect it, girl, but I'm not a little biatch that I'm going to just turn over and say, "Yes, ma'am," and be on your program. No way. I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. It's not even a compromise. As a matter of fact, I flipped this on her and I said, "You're coming across like you're superior and holier than thou, but you're not." And then I regurgitated what you told me and said, "So you really are not in your prime anymore," is what I understand. And now you're racing against the clock. And then I asked her, "At what age do you think is appropriate for you to be married by?" And she goes, "That ship has sailed." She told me this. "I think that ship has sailed." And I'm in a little bit of trouble because by the time I get to 35, now she has in her her head, 35 is like the no return zone. So, good luck. I wish you well. and it was a great 2 weeks. This is where you cut your losses and investments and say, I wish you well, you know? And surely enough, a couple of days later, she texted me and told me that in this is going to be so funny, guys. To land the plane, she picked a guy from the roster that she had a fling with and was going in that circle, someone she's hooked up with. And even though he's an atheist, but he's still the guy is Christian, meaning that he's not faith based, but he fits her box of what she's looking for. And he clearly, she told me some stuff, and he doesn't really treat her like that. But if she's gonna get into an intent, meaning he did not doesn't treat her the way I treated her in 2 weeks. She told me it was just a straight hookup. This tells me more about her than the guy, because the guy is gonna do it no matter what, like circumstances. Most guys are universally the same, and we're driven, the drive to have sex. It's just it's a guy thing, right? And when she told me that, I was like, yeah, you are hard not to judge, but you are something. You're crazy, right? And she went back to the roster, and I asked her, is he going to marry you? And are you going to invite me to your marriage, your wedding? She goes, oh, no way. Like, hell no. I don't think marriage is written for me. I'm like, oh, so you're going back to hooking up, that right? And she never responded, and we left it there. So cool. I never pursued it. I never pursued it thereafter, and we just left it there. So I've actually got another date lined up, and I don't know how old this girl is, but we'll find out. The reason why I'm sharing this story, one, I love storytelling, and two, giving you insight into my personality, my channel, and just opening up this dialogue a little bit. And the comments, like the one just that happened on my, she went back to the streets, inspires me to do more videos like this. Like, you have to step into the controversy and not run away from it. And I encourage you, whoever you are watching this video, if you have something to say, if you feel a certain way and you think this rubs you off the wrong way, I encourage you to make a video or two, at least show your face on your channel, so I can at least know who I'm dealing with, who I'm responding to. But some of you all don't even have videos. Like, I don't even see you putting in the work. So if you're not putting in the work and you choose to sort of have a one-sided, one-track comment and opinion, there's not a whole lot I can do. Thanks for your feedback and your comment. I'm always going to try to keep it cordial, man, and non-combative. I'm always going to give it to you straight and very honest and very direct. But it's never going to be hostile. In fact, I encourage you to start your channel, talk about it, and use this as fuel for your fire. And if you want to rebuttal it, please go ahead and do so. Now, me, clearly, I'm at a different stage in my life. I'm 50 years old. I don't have any expectations or of anything, really, of what I want from a woman. It just, I go with the flow. Like, if I'm digging your vibe, your energy, your smell, she could be any age. It doesn't matter to me. It's just that I've noticed some trends, and in the manosphere space, these trends are very popular. Like, and I've lived it, I've experienced it, and now I'm giving you testimonials based on my own real life experiences and receipts. So all that to say this, that if I didn't look a certain way and if I wasn't taking care of myself, I wouldn't be in a position to go on these dates and have the opportunity to at least meet some of these women and have my odds of having, a healthy dating life. Although it can be a lot of wasting of time as well. And that's why I say cut your losses after a few dates and just, know when to cut it and go your own way. Like, it's okay. Like, you don't have to over pursue, guys. Okay? So, damn, this has got to be one of my longest videos, but when you know that you feel really good about a video and your vibe and your flow when you can tell the story and forget, lose track of time. So, whew. this was good. I feel great talking about this. Like I'm smiling as we speak because it brings back memories, right? Okay, guys. Thanks for watching. Thanks for being here. Until the next video. Mama out.